Hello, good morning and good afternoon here in Portugal. Let me invite my guest, friend, peer, coach, Jason Dukes. Right. Hi, Jason. Waiting for Jason to come in. Ah, uh, we are have why it says you cannot come in. So wait. I'm gonna finish this one and then start again. What? Uh, let's see now. Oh, all right. Hey, Jason.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. How are
How are
you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Doing well, thank you. It's good to
Awesome.
see you and
Good
see
to
your
see you too.
background. You're in Florida.
Yeah, Florida this time of the year, but right before it gets way too hot to be outside, so trying to spend as much time outside as I can.
That's nice. That's a beautiful view.
Thank you.
Um, So yeah, well, people will start coming in. If not, they can watch later. I'm really looking forward to, talk to you about this topic that is so relevant. And thank you for helping me pick this topic as well, living and leading through uncertainty, which we are all going through. It doesn't matter which geographic, place you are in the world. It's there. There's so much happening, right, Jason? But first, I want to just say introduce how we know each other. It's been a long time. Like we
Yeah,
know each other for 8 years
yeah,
now,
it's
huh?
crazy.
Yes, yes. Me and Jason, we were trained in the same coaching training program, accomplishment coaching. Jason was a leader there, and I was still getting trained. And then, then we were mentors together to new coaches. Like you were leading, I was mentoring new coaches, and then you became my coach. You were my business coach, and definitely I have grown so much, in the time we worked together. And I still remember the breakthroughs I had, and like I still have your voice echoing for me sometimes. Like, yes, keep the focus. Like, oh my God, I can. Yeah, thank you. I really want to appreciate all the work that we have done together. That led to this simple and amazing life that I live now. You used to tell me like, "Oh, you resist normal." Yeah, I was like, I don't want structure. I don't want a routine, and now I love my routine.
I love it. Yeah, yeah. Well, that's the thing though, is that it's your routine, right? Like a lot of people love to read books or listen to people to find out what their routine is. It's like you have to create your own. Well, I mean, you don't have to, but for lots of people, you have to create your own
Yeah,
routine, and that takes time. Like it takes time to create that and figure it out.
yeah, yeah. So, well, let's start with this question I prepared on like how you define leading
Well,
through uncertainty.
actually,
Times of or you have another proposal.
not even another proposal, but just something to add on to where you started in the introduction and how long we've actually known each other.
Yeah,
I think that's one of that's two key things here. During the uncertainty time, one thing is that like during times of uncertainty, lots of people will look for side work or second jobs or third jobs or whatever. and things like coaching, it tends to cramp us, right? Because like, realtors, real estate, coaching, people are like, oh, all right, I need more money, I'll just be a coach. And it's like, well, like it ends up like I go to networking events and more people are just showing up as coaches, but like not because they coach, it's just because like they need a second or third thing to do and they're trying out coaching. And it's like, for people like me and you, it's like we're not trying out coaching.
Yeah.
We're coaches. We've been doing this for, in your case, 8 years, for me, a little bit longer.
How long? How
Um,
long have you been coaching?
I feel like it's 13 years. Like sometimes the map doesn't jive, but it's like, no, I created Captain Star Coaching in 2012. So it's like, that's 13 years.
Mm-hmm.
So like,
Mm-hmm.
that's crazy.
Yeah, a long time.
But it,
And before that, you were like a professor, right? You used to
a
teach.
teacher, a teacher.
Teacher.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
Mm,
teacher.
yeah.
So, my background was motorsports, auto racing. Worked for
Uh-huh.
NASCAR for a couple seasons and ran a racetrack in St. Louis. And then when my dad got sick, is when I moved back home to New Jersey and had to like
Mm,
refigure my life out. And that's where teaching sort of settled into teaching.
mm,
And then that's when
mm.
accomplishment coaching came around into my life.
Yeah, yeah. And yeah, for me, coaching or coaches like do have a little bit of like wanting to teach or to pass
Yeah,
something forward. So you did that very well for me. As you were talking about people wanting to make more money and getting a second or third job, right, to help with their income. I think I remember something you used to tell me. It's like in the beginning, I was like trying to get clients. It's like, if you are getting into this business with this like drive, like I need money, you're not gonna get clients. Like really,
right,
people can smell it from like miles away that you are in for to get something, right? And I really get that now because now I can say I'm in it to to give. It was always the intention to give, but sometimes because of the scarcity, like when you're coming into this business from scarcity, it gives that vibe like you need clients or you need money, and that's not a good place to to start,
right.
I would say, right? So
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
and that's something else at the time, doing it for 8 years or 12 years, like that, like people know that over time, right? Like people, there's no question of what I'm trying to do, right? Like people know, they know, they've known me for, I mean, most people have known me for even longer than I've been coaching, but for the people who know me as a coach, it's like, well, like I have 12 years worth of history as a coach and history of giving and history of contributing, most times, contributing way more than I'm getting paid for, but it's like it is what it is, So
Yeah.
uh yeah, so that goes a long way.
Yeah.
To the times of uncertainty, you bring up scarcity, and I think that's one of the things that ends up getting peaked during times of uncertainty is that like, you know, your your scarcity starts to peak up, and then as you said, like everyone else can see that you can't hide it, right? So in some
Mhm.
cases, it's how do you make it relatable, and then sometimes a coaching experience, or sometimes an opportunity uh, to start conversations, right? Like, I mean,
Mhm.
I'm in scarcity. Like my income has gone up, but my expenses have gone up way past my income, unfortunately, which puts me in scarcity. But
Right.
so I mean, around here, so has everyone else. So it's like, so then that's an opportunity in some cases to start conversation and have it be about them rather than about me.
Mm, mm. Oh, thank you for starting with your
Oh
vulnerability.
yeah,
Like really, that's that's a reality of the world. Like everything, the prices went up, right? We cannot keep up like raising our price because people wouldn't pay, right? Like they
right.
cannot afford either. So yeah, like what had like you choose this topic in your heart to talk about this uncertainty? I'm curious.
Yeah, I mean, it. Uh, well, I guess it's my a couple things, right? Like from a vulnerability standpoint, it's my reality, right? Like I lived here. I moved here 5 years ago, and now it's pretty much unaffordable. Like if we do this in 6 months, there's a chance that I may be doing it from my mom's house back up in New Jersey, and that's real, right? Like unless something changes on the business side, which I'm obviously working on. But I think that's the reality for a lot of people. Like my brother, he's a HR executive at a company, and he, recently moved back with my mom. Like not because of any financial pressure, it just didn't make any sense for him to live where he was living anymore.
Yeah.
And that's happening a lot. Like I live here in Florida, and where I live, there's a lot of transient people and people who like this isn't their like everyone here wants to make this home, but it isn't their home.
Yeah, we
And
were talking about these people yesterday. I went to a casting. I'm sorry, I know it sounds judgmental. I have nothing against these people, but like the how you call it, the nomads,
yeah, 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 yeah.
the
Nomads, yeah. The
yeah the
tran transients, snowbirds, all the things you want to call them. Yeah,
I forgot the other word, but it's like usually people who can work remotely, right?
yeah,
Like us, uh, but they don't live in a country, so the meaning like they don't pay taxes in your country, right? So they're paying taxes back in their country. That happens a lot where I am right now. So in a way, like the system like has to accommodate everyone,
right,
but yeah, like so they make more money. For example, they make more money in US and they come to live here, it's cheaper. But then it's like you're not really paying taxes here, right? Because you're not like taking responsibility for this country. So yes, but I'm not blaming. I know it's just like the world is about who is smarter. Like if you can take advantage of something, you take advantage of something. But we got to think about also how we're contributing for this a system that is not working for everyone,
right,
right? Because like you're saying, if I was living in US, it would be impossible for me to have the quality of life that I have here, because it costs so much more in US to
right,
have this quality of life. So I can have this quality of life because I work with US clients, so I make a little bit more money than many Portuguese makes as a base salary, but it's not fair, right? Like what is fair? But it's just I totally get that, and it's uncertain. Like it's fine now, but I don't know. Like we live, like our profession is really we live this uncertainty, right? That
hmm
it's like, okay, how it's gonna be in 6 months, like you said, you don't know. You might be moving back to your mom's house, or something has to shift. So how do you deal with that, Jason, and your clients as well? How you coach them
yeah.
to this?
So, um, like most of my clients, I mean, I mostly coach like visionary entrepreneur people, right? So they're people who are generally creating something that doesn't exist, or they're creating something where, like they're one of one in the industry that they're in. Like they're the one who's doing the thing in their industry. And like you talked about that, like, sometimes the game of this world is like, figure out what the game is and be really smart and win that game. Well, what ends up happening with uncertainty, or the uncertainty that we're dealing with now, is that, like, at least in America, it's like the game changes every 20 minutes. Like, literally, I was a couple weeks ago. I was at a networking event, and like it wasn't a BNI, but it was like a BNI where everyone goes around and does a little introduction. And
Mm-hmm.
I had my introduction prepared, and and it was about something that had just happened in the news. And like right before I spoke, there was breaking news, and like the president had announced something completely different, and it was like, it was like, it was
Okay,
like
I prepared something, but it has changed.
it's changed. It's already changed, right? And that was like literally, it was like 20 minutes, and that's, I mean, like that's how things are going here, right? So the game is like constant. The game is just constantly changing. Some of the things seem to have some sort of a long term focus, and some of them are just all over the place. And so, um, a lot of it just comes with like, uh, I mean, I work with a lot of clients where they're working on big things, and some of these big things like take time, and and people have failed along the way. But one of the things that I have to keep in my like with a lot of my clients, some of the things that we have to keep in mind is that in some cases, like before we act, we also have to just reassess everything. Like I was just talking to a friend the other day where there's an organization that's a competition to his, and um, they're starting a branch in Miami, which isn't very far from his branch. But the area in Miami that they're starting it in, like I can tell what happened. The area in Miami that they're starting it in, like the the idea would not work there today, but it
Mm,
would have worked there 4 years ago when it was like this up and coming like little like artist community. Now it's not. Like the developers came in, it's completely different, and these people are like, "Yay, we're it's the area's Wynwood, right? Like they're like, "Yay, we're doing this thing in Wynwood, Miami,"
yeah,
and it's like that time passed. Like but
yeah.
it's not that's not the time anymore. So but
Wow.
they were fighting probably to put something there for so long that now they finally have the opportunity, and they're like, and it's likely going to fail within like a month or two, because it's not the timing is just off. Like the everything changed. So I think it's really important for leaders, business owners, even humans, just to almost nowadays on an everyday, just like in business school, we had a thing called SWOT analysis. So it's an acronym for SWOT. So strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Um,
Mhm.
the opportunities and threats part are the thing that I focus with a lot of my clients on, just because like every week it changes. Like what like with everything going on, like what's the opportunity now? Like what's the threat now that we didn't know? Um, I mean, you know this, but for the people listening, a lot of my clients are in motorsports, like
Mhm.
auto racing, and a lot of it is actually international auto racing. And it's like there couldn't be a worse time in history to be involved in automotive and like international automotive. Like, you know what I mean?
Mm.
Like it's like one, automotive works really well with free trade, and two, international auto racing works really well with free trade. And now everyone's being very, to themselves in tariffs and stuff like that. So that hurts
Mm.
my business and my client's business a ton.
Yeah, well, I hear you. I could even feel the frustration, right? That people feel, like, okay, well, but I've been working on this thing for so long, and now I
Yep.
have to reassess and adapt to like even to the new reality, to the new circumstance, and yeah, and that's something that I also notice with my clients because I work with executives and people who works with big corporations, and there's so many reorganizations happening, like huge layoffs, right? So leaders are themselves as a person, they feel the uncertainty. Sometimes they don't know if they're going to be the next one made redundant, right? And then they have to, or I mean, I don't know if they have to, but like there's this impression that you have to keep calm, like, or at least presenting that everything is gonna be okay, even though you don't know if
Yeah,
it's
you don't
gonna
know.
be okay.
Right.
It's like,
Right.
yeah,
Well, and
yeah.
I mean, and it's it's a weird thing how the cycles work, especially in corporate America. And this could I don't work very much with corporations or in corporate America, so this could be my outside opinion on it. But it's like now is the time when the employees within corporations probably need the most support, but the
Mhm.
companies are cutting back, and so the employees aren't getting the support that they need. Where it's like when things are good and companies have extra money is when they're like, all right, we'll bring coaches in and we'll do all that. And it's like that's probably the time where they need it the least amount.
Yeah.
So anyone out there, listening, like they should be hiring. Like I'm probably not the best corporate coach, but they should be hiring you right now because this is the time when they need you the most. So,
Yeah, yeah. Well, I think some companies, like, we have a lot of like data that investing on their well-being, it helps people be more productive, right? But yes, again, the companies also get into this scarcity mindset that it's like, okay, if you're not making profit, we're not going to invest on, people's well-being. But it, like you said, could be the most important time. Yeah,
Well,
but
the other thing too, can I, if I can just say something about,
sure.
maybe how some of the stuff that I relates to people's personal life. Like, I was coming at it from just a business standpoint of like how businesses need to reassess what the opportunities and threats are, but also everyone in their personal life. Like, me realizing, what the opportunity and the threat is here. Of actually, I mean, I had in America, I had a thing where my income did go up last year, but also my expenses went up way more than my income went up, but the expenses that went up weren't tax deductible, so my taxes
Mm,
went up.
yeah.
It's like, so I'm in this weird situation where, yeah, it's just it's bad, right? But um, I'm uh, me and my brother, we have a pretty vulnerable relationship, right? But like, I'm super proud of him, of how quickly he realized the threats and opportunity of his personal life, and just was like, screw it, it just doesn't make sense. Like, as much of a hit that it may have been to his ego or whatever, like, he just went and lived with my mom, and but now they're saving a bunch of money, and when the economy turns, he'll be sitting on a decent amount of money to do something. So
Hmm, hmm,
um,
hmm.
yeah, those are the decisions that people are gonna have to make for sure.
Yeah, it's good to hear you, like, talking to individuals, right? That is a great mindset. That's a mindset that I also, talk myself into. It's like, thinking about if the worst, like you call it opportunities and threats, right? I think about like what's the worst that can happen, like, well, in the worst case scenario, like I can move to Brazil. I'm from Brazil, like,
Yeah,
we I have a house there. Like we don't have, like, that's not my ideal. I always go for that. Of course, we have a vision, we have the ideal, but we also look at the threats, right? Okay, if that happened, uh, could I live with that? Could I go back and live with my mom? Sure. Like she's opening the house for you. Like what? It's really, why not, right? But of course, your ideal scenario is where I see you now, where
yeah, yeah.
in
This
this
is
place. But and even like that's for me, as you know, I used to be a model, uh, and I made very good money. Every day I was making lots of money, and at the time I had more fear than I have now.
right, right, right,
So for me, money doesn't equal security in a way, like it doesn't equal like peace of mind. It's really having a mindset of like, you know, uh, for me was that how when I used to be a model and I went into coaching and I had great coaches like yourself that helped me, look through this different perspective. Like, okay, if this worst case scenario happened, like I'm trusting that I have people that I can, reach out to. I have family, I have friends, right? And it's not all on me,
right.
and I feel like a society in a way, like this individualism that we live now, it makes us believe, because that's how the capitalism feeds into, right? If I feel lonely, I'm operating on an individual level. It's like there's lots of more fear, right? Because it's like, oh, it's up to me, like, oh my god, I cannot ask my neighbor, I cannot ask my mom, right? So the burden is so heavy, right? So when we are open, like you said, and vulnerable to be like, I'm okay with this outcome. It's not my ideal outcome, but if that happens, like I'm still gonna be grateful. That's
Hmm.
my mindset. I'm like, I'm gonna be grateful, and I learned a lot with you about that. We used to practice gratitude like daily, remember?
Yeah, yeah.
And I think having this mindset of gratitude, it's really important, especially during uncertain times, because we feel like, oh yeah, it's easy to be grateful when you are at the beach having a cocktail or whatever. But train your mind to be grateful even when you're going through difficult times, and we can always find something good, in every situation. If we're still alive, there's something to be grateful for. I don't know, that's my
Yeah,
belief.
yeah. Well, and I think, I mean, as a society, I think social media and media just in general, like trained us to not be to not be grateful. Like, and it hurts with my marketing sometimes too, right? Because it's like, uh, social media like wants us to portray that like, oh, everything is great, everything is wonderful, and blah blah blah, and like that ends up creating so many boundaries to just being real and just being human. Um,
Uh,
and like you said, like I think not necessarily prior to social media, but I think that that probably hurt a lot of communities and just people reaching out for support within the communities because people are embarrassed. And then you get the two parts of that is that like, well, wait, like I can't have this social media personality where like everything is great, and then at the same time like everything is not great. So
yeah,
people don't ask for people don't ask for help, and so uh,
yeah,
yeah, it's
yeah. Like I don't know, I kind of feel like you use the word, that's not the word you said, but I heard like a shame, like people are embarrassed, right?
yeah,
Like it creates this feeling of embarrassment to reach out for support, right? And how many people I have coached, many people I have coached, they say, why did I reach out earlier? Like, oh my God, I went
yeah,
through so many struggles by myself, right? Because that's what, like you said, Instagram, or the system is like, well, we need to be superheroes to do everything ourselves. We
right,
need to cope with everything alone, and it's so much easier. Like, really, I wouldn't have done be where I am also without your support. Because I remember some of the strategies, or like in the times I was really with a scarcity mindset. Of course, like anyone else, I was thinking about second and third jobs, and I was a coach, and I remember I wanted to do like a side business with jewelry, remember? And
yeah.
you were
I
like,
remember all your side businesses.
I have many ideas for side businesses, yes. And you're like, just to stick
Mhm.
to what you're doing, just have focus, and yeah, and it's focus and consistency, right? Trying some things. One of your like the structure with me was to try something at least for 30 days. I became really good at that.
Mhm.
Now I'm actually on Instagram trying for a year. That's my
Good, good, good. Yeah,
time frame of like, because I know this thing takes time, and so and you really, like you said about your clients, you work with people who are doing big things, and big things takes time.
takes time.
So yeah. So how do you have, I think more than ever, people need to nurture good beliefs, and not to be like the crazy positivity. It's not that I'm talking about, but really having a strong mindset, right? A resilient mindset to cope with these uncertainties. How do you support your leaders through that?
Well, um, they're all different. Actually, I'll answer that in a second. Just to go back, you
Yeah.
talked about gratitude. Uh, Everyone out there listening, Thank and Grow Rich, not Think and Grow Rich, but Thank and Grow Rich is a great book. So go get that, and if you want to
Yes.
practice it, I'm sure you can call either one of us, and we'll do it with you for the 30 days.
Yes.
Um, so resiliency is an interesting one, right? Because it's different for all my clients. For me, one of the things that I've had to do it's try to figure out what to, I mean, almost on a daily or weekly basis, like what can be a part of my life and what can't be a part of my life. Um,
Mm,
I advertise on social media for business, and LinkedIn for I use LinkedIn for networking, right? Like I use it almost like a networking event. But there's certain social medias that I just can't that I just can't be a part of just because it's I'm going to see things that are going to turn me off, and or people are going to post things that I'm just like, oh my god, I can't believe that's what they think, and it's like, all right, so I can't do that. I pretty much limited myself to business news
Mm,
because I can't like, and only certain business news is like I just need me like I do well with just give me the facts. I don't need to know people's interpretations of the things. Like I just need to know the facts, right?
mhm,
So
mhm.
in any sort of business news where I could just find the facts. Like if I need someone's opinion or someone's analysis on it, I can go get that if I want to. But like I just want to know the facts. Um, this environment, like it'll change in the summer because I won't be able to get out as much. But like getting outside, being in nature, going on walks, stuff like that. Like just
Mm.
getting connected to the things where it's like, look, we can be in World War 18, right? But like if you go to the beach, it's still going to be the beach.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like
Mm,
during all
mm,
wars, there were still waves at the beach and like sand and stuff like that, right? Like so, um, yeah, just trying to keep things simple and not be a part of the hysteria with everyone else. Like just try to stay grounded. Um, and so for most of my clients, trying to get like you said, like figuring out what your routine is, like trying to help my clients figure out what their routine is, like what can they do, what can't they do. And as a
mm.
coach, like you can contest to this, but like some of that stuff as a coach is easy to figure out, right? Because like we'll come to a weekly call and it's like, well, the person just rants for like an hour about stuff that they heard on the news. And it's like, okay, then stop watching the news. You know what
Yeah,
I mean? Like
yeah.
it's getting yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing that you should probably stop doing. So um or come to the call and rant for like, oh, I go to this group and like everyone thinks this and blah blah blah, and it's getting in the way, and it's like, wow, you're spending a ton of energy
That's me.
going there. Well,
I'm
I
done.
no, I didn't,
No,
I
I
wasn't throwing
think
that at you, but yeah,
no, no, no. I'm kidding. I'm just saying, like, yes, we, and I including myself, right? It's a way we sabotage
yeah,
ourselves, right?
yeah,
Our well-being by focusing on things that we have no control, right? And I'm hearing you like saying that be mindful, right? Make simple choices. Be mindful of what you're putting into your conscious, right? What you're in a way even choosing the trigger, right? If you're seeing that news is not making you feel better, like you're watching this, you cannot change anything, you're gonna get wired up, and then you're gonna pay an hour of coaching to just be venting about
just
the
venting
thing.
about
It's
that,
just,
right, right,
yeah, it's not, yeah, it doesn't make any sense. But we need someone like we need people to remind us of that,
yeah,
right? Sometimes after I feel like after being coached for many years, and at this moment I don't have a coach, but we start, like I said, I still hear your voice in the back. It's just like we create that, those neuron paths of like inner coaching, right? I can see when I'm getting to that. Not all the time, but like most of the time, I can do really good reflections and analyze, like, oh, okay, I'm wasting time and energy on this thing that it's not really aligned with, my vision or my purpose,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, but sorry, I
No,
interrupt
no, no,
you.
no. Well, that was probably the next point that I was going to say is vision and purpose.
Mhm.
Because like in times like this, like the like I don't want to make it sound like a conspiracy theorist or that we live in like a matrix or something like that, but it's like some of the leaders in this country or the news or whatever, like they they want to make their stuff like, and I get it, right? Like I worked in sports and entertainment, right? Like if I can change someone's life's purpose to be Dale Earnhardt fan or like Inter Miami soccer club fan, like if I could make that their purpose in life, like right, like have them forget what their purpose in life, and now your purpose in life is to wear a black hat with a number three and hate Jeff Gordon and like all that. It's like I win. Like my sport is great if I can make your purpose my sport. right? Like I joke around, like in American football, like I like the New York Giants and I hate the Dallas Cowboys. And if you follow some of my social media, you may be like, oh, like, Cowboys hater is like one of his purposes. And it's like, it isn't. Like most of the people who know my heart, they know what my purpose is. And like, I have all these like fake purposes just for fun. But one of the things that's happening here, at least here in the country, is that people are losing their purpose and like, either loving Donald Trump or hating Donald Trump has become their purpose.
Mm,
It's like their
mhm,
mission or their
mhm.
purpose or like and it's like, guys, like that's not your, I mean, I'm not
Yeah, the guy's
like,
gonna have his 4 years and then he's out, you know?
like, yeah, right, like he's like, and for, I mean, for some people it is their purpose. Okay, that's fine, but it's like, like, still go back to like, what is actually your mission? What's your vision? What's your purpose? And remember that, like you just said, right, like continually taking some time and going back to what your mission, vision, and purpose is. Because the world, there are great marketers out there who are trying to convince you, not even convince you, but just work on that, work on it against you, right? Like, again, if I can get your purpose to be sports car racing or drag racing or NASCAR, or anything like that, like, then as a marketer, I win. Um,
Mhm,
but
mhm,
people have to remember what their purpose is.
yes. Well, that's very important what you're saying. It's like, it reminds me of a conversation I had recently with a client where she is, I really admire her. She is very successful, and and she has such a growth mindset. But she was sharing with me that she's always consuming knowledge, right? She's always consuming knowledge, information, right? She wants to be aware of everything that is happening, but the way she's consuming is like by taking in everything as the truth,
Oh,
and
wow.
it's like, okay, you read a book and then you want to implement this new thing with your family, and then the family is like going crazy. I'm like, okay, every time you read a new book, it's a new technique approach that you want to take. And I was sharing with her like, why don't you start questioning? You are someone who could be writing those books as
Right.
well, so why don't you start having your own opinion on the things that you're consuming? And she's like, wow, I never did that.
Yeah.
And I think this is the what you're saying. It's like we're all influenced, right? And we all have influence as well if we want to have influence. And people just become followers, right? Like they don't really they forget about what their own purpose and mission in life is, and they're just starting following somebody else's purpose and mission without even questioning. We need to question things. We need to and your simple advice is like, you just want to see the facts. You just want to read or listen to news that are based on facts. Like, you don't want to hear interpretations of interpretations of interpretations, because there is always an interpretation, right? But yes, definitely, it's important, I think, especially in these moments of uncertainty, to limit, right, what we are consuming, or being aware of what you're consuming. Of course, I like to hear, follow some people and hear what they think, like but even then, we always have this great, and that's the relationship I create with my clients as well. It's like, you're my coach and I respect you, but if you
Mhm.
tell me something that I disagree, I have to say, like, okay, well, this is not how I see it, right? This
Right.
is, but it just becomes, I think, I have no idea how it is in America right now, because I left, 4 years. Not so different here, to be honest. I think everywhere we have this politician problems, and here in Portugal, I can say, we have many other problems at the moment with, real estate as well. Like, I want to buy a house, like I cannot afford, it's
Yeah.
just
Same.
crazy, but I try to focus on the things that I have control over, versus the other things that I cannot either even influence, right? Yeah.
it's hard. It's exactly it's hard. That's exactly where we are. I as I was talking before, I realized like there's I didn't realize I just realized what some of the marketers are doing, but there's like some brands that are called like blank is life, where it's like basketball is life, football is life, like whatever, running is life or whatever it is, surfing is life. And
Uh-huh.
it's like, man, like that's these marketers trying to help you define your purpose, right? Like or
Uh-huh.
convince you that their purpose, right? Like if they could convince you that your purpose is to carry a basketball around all day long, then they win because they could sell you basketball sneakers, basketball shorts, basketballs, content, all those things. And, but everyone gets to define what what their life is. And as you said, in the routines, it takes time to figure it out. Like this does not look like anything that I was born with or whatever, but this is my vibe. You also asked, like you don't know how it is in the US. Like I probably don't either. You know what I mean? Like, because this is like I'm very attached to it because of my clients and stuff like that. But for the most part, like this is what I try to, you know, this is what I want to wake up and see, right? Like this is what I want to go to sleep and see because it will keep my mind in a place where it needs to be.
Mm, mm. Yeah, just like when you said, like, choosing to go to the beach, like that is something that, even in the Second World War, like if you go to the
It
beach,
was still the beach.
it's still a beach and you're gonna see waves, right? You're choosing to be where you feel that inner peace, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. I think during times of uncertainty, of course, fears. Even just now, I hang up with a client, and he was saying that his company in the market, it's week after week they put news of like all the companies gonna be brought, right? It can be fake news most of the time, right? But he's like, well, this is not happening, right? This is what I tell him, like, okay, it's not happening yet. But he's like, still, like, deep down, I have that in the back of my mind. Is it going to be sold? It's like, well, like we cannot leave. I think it's really for me this like this quote of like, is it it's not happening yet. Yes, we need to look at things like to see the threats that would come, but also living in a constant state of fear, by creating all these interpretations. I think it's really about addressing the facts, right? Like, okay, is this happening? So now I need to um, create a solution, right? To create another path. Because for me, even when we mentioned about myself creating many other business ideas, I remember you saying to me, like focus on plan A, close all the back doors. It's like it was really based on fear. It's like, well, what if this thing doesn't really work? But I wasn't giving my all to this thing, to this plan A, and it wasn't until I actually gave it all, right? And meaning like really dedicating, right? With dedicating time, that it worked, right? Because if you start creating, scattering yourself to do so many things at the same time, we're just creating overwhelm, So I think it's like what I tell for some clients, not for all, but especially for this one. It's like, okay, let's address what's happening now, in your
yeah,
role, and what you want to do next. But this other thing that is happening here, it's not a reality yet, right? So we need to address what are the
yeah.
facts.
Yeah,
um
your story and your transformation on that, I think, is will like share that a ton because I think it will be really helpful to people during this time where people are going to start to try to come up with plan Bs and Cs and Ds and all that, and it's like, um, if you're not giving your all to plan A, then you're probably not going to give your all to plan B, and you're probably not going to give your all to plan C, and you're not going to give your all to plan D, and then it just all starts to thin out, and then nothing ends up being successful, and then you're just all over the place. And note, like I have to be careful with that too, because like I, I mean, it's my job to keep my clients focused too, but some of my clients are actually really good multitaskers who can give their all to multiple different things, either because they just have like a superhuman battery or because they're really good delegators. Like I can't. Like I have a super low battery, right? Like I got like 4 hours of work in me a day, and then I'm like, all right, I'm done. I gotta go to the beach, right? Um, but yeah, so
Mm-hmm.
I think people also need to know who they are and not fool themselves, right? Like if they're doing one thing and they're not giving their all to it and it's not working, then like don't fool yourself into thinking that like, oh well, I can go do two or three other things. It's like, in this world, things take 100% focus and 100% effort in order to make it happen. Like it's competitive,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um,
So if we look back here in the conversation, I will highlight what stayed with me here. It's like, one we talked about gratitude. I'm gonna leave the book that you recommended to me, and that we practiced together. Think and Grow Rich. So keeping this, gratitude vibration right during this uncertainty times. We also talk about knowing what your purpose and your vision is, because if you don't, like somebody else is going to try to sell their purpose and their vision into you through
yeah,
marketing, right?
yeah,
uh,
they're constantly selling it. They're constantly selling it, and it's just whether or not you have a strong enough vision and purpose to counteract that. But they're always selling it. I didn't
yeah.
realize how much I was like in my other lives. I don't realize how much I was selling it. Like, yeah, I was dying to get people to make racing their life's purpose.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Still
Yeah.
am actually with some of my clients. We still are.
Yeah. Oh, I think we all been there,
Yeah,
because
yeah,
even coaching, for example, I think when I first, when you first get into something that it transforms your life, that you feel passionate about, of course you want to share and you want everybody like this is the thing, like oh you gotta do coaching. Coaching is the best thing, but it's not everyone cup of it not it's not everyone's cup of tea. The same thing is like not yoga is not for everyone, right? Or surfing is not for
yeah.
everyone. Like you got to find what your thing is, what will support you with your life vision, right? Because there are many tools, many pathways, the things, anything that helps you stay connected with yourself, right? Because we live in a busy and noisy world, and uncertain. And if we can find any tools, right, to help us stay grounded, centered, and for me, I still think coaching is a great tool because we hear ourselves through someone else's perspective as well. And that's very helpful. But again, I don't impose or trying to sell that to anyone, not marketing that for people to believe. It's like, oh, it became genuine, right? It's like, okay, if you find it, if you want to try it, and if you see it works for you. But again, it's good to keep in mind that it's you know people want everything so fast, right? And sometimes it happens, like I had clients with 3 months and they reached their
Hmm.
goal. They reach some level, but sometimes, like most of the time it takes time,
Right.
right? Like to reach something. So you got to be, anything we do, we got to be ready to invest our heart and dedication, so to make that worth. But what else did we talk about here? Help me out.
Support, getting support, like not doing it all your own. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and then uh, what? Yeah, like you said, time. My challenge for you is to not put the 1 year limit on the Instagram stuff. Like, just keep doing it. Just obviously assess along the way, but just keep doing it. Like,
Yeah.
you know, and when I say don't put the 1 year, like obviously nothing less than 1 year, but don't stop at 1 year. Just keep
Yeah.
going.
No, my intention is to keep going, right? So it's like another framework you brought here was the, I can't remember the whole framework, but I kept the opportunities and threats.
Oh
What is it?
yes, yes, yes.
What?
SWOT. So
SWOT.
strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats. But honestly, right now, the opportunities and threats are probably the most important part of it.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm looking for the opportunity here with Instagram, but and I think the only threat is time, because it is time consuming. But as long as anything, like for me, the thermometer is it bringing me joy, right? Do I enjoy doing this,
Hmm.
right? And this is a good place to be because it wasn't like this before. When I started my coaching business, for example. I had another coach that Team Eric, and he was like, it's like throwing spaghetti at the wall, like take tons of action. And that's what I needed back then. Now,
Hmm.
definitely it's not what I need,
Right, right.
So I need to be very, like you said, reevaluate, what I'm doing next month, what I'm doing, this week, because things are changing, and we need to be conscious about, am I going in the direction that makes most sense, right? Because work life balance, it's very important, right? It's very important. I remember we also talked about that, and I think to go away from scarcity, to move away from the fear, all these feelings that comes with uncertainty. We need to really take good care of ourselves, right? Especially leaders. So making sure, for me, when I moved here and you were coaching me, was like, building a social connection, like making friends, getting out. And even though people who knows me will be like, oh, you always be social. Well, but when you move to a new place and you're older, it's not so easy,
Right.
to make friends when you're like, 18. So I actually had to make that a goal, and
Yeah,
I
yeah.
made the effort, like, and I put this structure. Okay, once a week, I'll go for coffee with someone new or something like that,
Well, I mean,
So all of
you're also a unit too. Like you're a family, so it's not, you don't just get to go out and do whatever you want. Like it's a unit in a family.
yes, yes, yes. Yeah, and getting all the needs met, it's really an ongoing conversation, I would say, like, so we can all have, our needs met here in the family. But I think we're doing a good work, but we have had lots of support, I think, like, being willing to ask for help, and I think we could even reach out more for more support. But
Absolutely.
we're doing lots of that. So during these times, I would say that's what we focus here, right? Get support, take care of yourself, find what's important for you, your what for your purpose, right?
Yeah.
And have someone who reminds you of that, because it's so easy to lose track in the midst of fear and uncertainty, right, Jason?
Hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And I guess probably another point that we brought up too is just to, you know, avoid letting the things in that you don't need to let in.
Mhm.
My not watching the news or not reading certain things or not going to certain groups or whatever. It's like it's part of it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Protecting our energy, it's important, like we need it, right? Is there anything else that you want to share? What's that noise?
It's a person's car.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, someone's revving the engine of their car, which I'm probably at fault at because I somewhere down the line I probably helped convince this person that racing is life. So
All right,
yeah,
so we're coming to an hour here. Like, the time went by so fast.
absolutely.
I always love talking to you, and
Same.
yeah, and let's keep in touch, supporting each other and also other people. You said, like, I want to, if you may allow me to ask you this question, because, like, you said you have this fake purpose, right? What is your purpose, your real purpose?
Uh, I mean, we did the purpose exercise at accomplishment coaching, and it was peace.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think it's a little bit more like I don't know. I feel like almost like the opening of like Moulin Rouge, where it's like peace, love, truth, connection, all those things. Like it's a little bit of those. Like actually,
Yeah.
like moving stuff forward in a peaceful way that's like based in reality. That's based on connection and just real. I mean, I think too that's probably like uh I did a lot of these exercises 13, 12, 13 years ago. And
Yeah.
so, like I'm 46 now, and like I've actually got to watch things occur over time, and and like how being connected and connected with people actually helps over time. And so, like, not necessarily that my purpose has changed, but how I would define it, or how I would put it into words have changed. And it's like, yeah, just like peaceful connection, like making stuff happen, you
Mm.
factually and just connected.
Mm, yes, it evolves, right? Your purpose has evolved, and I can see all of that in you, right? The peace and the connection and support, right? That
Hmm.
making things happen. So I really appreciate the time we spent together.
Same.
My intention is to put these lives into podcast. That's another
Oh,
project. You
sweet.
know me. I want
Very
to
cool.
do that, like to put in a podcast, so make it more concise for people to listen to. But I really appreciate your collaboration, and we'll stay in touch.
Sounds good. Good to see
Good
you.
to see you. Bye, Jason.
All right. Love you.
Bye.
Bye.
Love you.
Bye.